Welcome back, everybody, to Fun in the Locker Room, and welcome to 2025. New Year is upon us, and we all know that your New Year's resolution is to watch more Fun in the Locker Room, and we're going to do our damn best to help you accomplish that. We got a lot to cover today. We have some college football playoffs. We just finished watching Notre Dame, Georgia, which is a great game. We have all of New Year's Day to talk about, the New Year's Eve game. We'll touch on the round before that. We have, as always, football. Week 18 is next week, so we have a lot of playoff implications next week. We'll get into some NBA, some MLB. So you're not gonna want to go anywhere. Rank and Liam, how was your New Year's and how was your 2025 so far?
Rankle?
It's been great. Watching some great college football games. I feel like first round we definitely had some duds, and looking at the slate of games that we just saw for these four games, yes, there were some blowouts, but there's been some great football being played here. Like, I guess you want to start with the game tonight?
Let's jump into
Let's
it.
jump right into it, Rank.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Georgia, billed as a heavyweight matchup. Two great teams coming in here. Interesting to see what happens with Georgia playing their backup quarterback in today. And Notre Dame came out defensively and just stopped this Georgia offense. Like, that is really where this game comes down to. If you compare this game to other games being played this weekend, this game was pure old-fashioned SEC hard-nosed football that was being played out there today. They were punching, they were fighting. Liam, this must have been your perfect game.
Oh, man. Rankle. Not only was it incredible defense, we had some major special teams plays, great punts, great fakes, a return. I mean, there was everything in this game, and Notre Dame absolutely dominated them when it really mattered most. Riley Leonard played incredible, and they just couldn't stop him on the ground.
One thing I've noticed a lot in college football, at least watching these past couple games, and Notre Dame is probably more than anybody else, is I feel like half the time Notre Dame lines up on defense, and then like a second before the ball snapped, they like shift, like they all shift 5 inches right, or 5 inches left, something like that. And half the time Georgia jumps offside or something like that. I'm surprised the NFL hasn't adopted this more. Maybe because just offensive linemen are better in the NFL and this wouldn't work. But it doesn't seem like there's a negative to it. And if it works even like 3% of the time, that's a successful play in my mind.
100%.
What are we thinking about the backup QB play? And I guess my question is if Carson Beck plays this game, is the outcome different for Georgia?
Hey, Carson Beck has not played great this year. We saw him in that Texas game in the first half. He looked bad. Like, they were getting blown out by Texas. I'm not sure how much Carson Beck makes a difference. I'm not sure why he's coming out of college this year. That's another story to come out with, like why he's not going back for another year. But I don't think he's all that. And I think this game maybe is closer to an extent, but I don't think it really changed the game.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame dominated kind of every other facet of the game. Their defense, I don't think anybody was getting through tonight. I mean, they were everywhere. Team tackling, making plays. This Notre Dame team just won for the first time in program history 13 games, and they could win 15 this season. I'm very excited to see some future matchups. We got to talk about the Texas-Arizona State game. I mean, Mr. Scadaboo.
What a beautiful game that was.
Yeah. Take a bow, young man. Questionable call at the end. Truett, you want to talk about what happened there?
Yeah, obviously, end of the game was pretty monumental. Both, a lot was going on with the missed field goals. Arizona State having an incredible comeback, down 2 scores with only 8 minutes left to go.
Yeah.
And there's a play where we're tied ball game, and Arizona State is marching down the field. Pretty obvious targeting call here. And I tried to look at it. I tried to think to myself, how did they look at it? And I could not justify not calling targeting, especially when you have the ability to go back and replay it and review it like they did. That's pretty textbook targeting. So, and I think that obviously changes the game. ASU has had their kicking problems. Ironically, so did Texas last game. But, you give them a chance to kick that field goal. Maybe we're not talking about overtime at all.
Yeah, I'd say it was definitely a targeting thing. I think to an extent it's being blown up portion of how important it is because as we saw the rest of the game, ASU's kicking must be the worst in college football. That was atrocious. Like, I guess for a stat, they were 33% on the year on field goals above 35 yards. Like,
It's horrible.
Liam could go out there and kick more field goals better than this guy. But yes, it was pretty clear they had targeting that should have been called.
It's so impressive that they were the 4th ranked team
Yeah,
with kicking like that. I mean, my lord. That
the
was
opposite
really
of the Chargers somehow.
Yeah, Liam, you hit it right on the head. I kind of want to unpack a little bit. We got to give our flowers to Scattaboo,
Yeah.
doing it in actually every facet of the game,
Yeah.
rushing, making incredible contested catches, throwing touchdowns. I mean, the only guy that 100% showed up and he gave it his all, and he was half the reason they were in until the end.
I would give him more credit than that. He was doing everything. He was so impactful. We got to talk about the other game too. Penn State. Really, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was going to be closer. I know the spread did not think so. People over at DraftKings wouldn't agree with me, but I thought Boise State was gonna play with some more juice. Penn State looked pretty dominant.
Yeah, is this Genty's like regression to the mean? Because there's 2 arguments I thought. Like, he's finally playing good defense this week, and he 2 fumbles, 104 yards. Like, that's not great numbers. The other aspect is he's playing with a Boise State offensive line that's probably trash, and like nobody. Like, if you ask any casual college football fan, Ashton Genty on Boise State, and you couldn't name an offensive lineman, you couldn't name a wide receiver, you couldn't name a quarterback, anybody else on the team. There's nothing there but him. So give him the flowers for what he's been able to do this season with just that. But yeah, they looked completely outmatched against Penn State. They put up a good fight. It was 31-17. Like, there was times when Boise State like made it close to an extent, but this was Penn State with a runaway.
Yeah, and there was a lot of things working against Genty, like you said. The QB play did not help him at all. It was the most obvious game plan you could have had this entire round to stop the run. Quarterback threw 3 picks. The Penn State defense made SMU's quarterback look just absolutely horrendous. Like, this is going to be a good unit, and it's going to be rough for Notre Dame, and we're going to see 2 really good defenses. So
I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest. I'm so excited. And then on the other side of the bracket, Texas versus Ohio State, I think there's going to be fireworks. That game could end like 40-40, maybe 50-50. I think Penn State Notre Dame is going to be – I would love to see a 9-10 like slugfest. Guys running the ball, hitting big punts,
So that Ohio State game, that was just – I don't know if anyone was expecting – I thought it was going to be close. I didn't realize it was going to be Ohio State blowing the brakes off of Oregon's defense.
That wide receiver, Ohio State, 19 years old, best wide receiver in college football. If he went out right now, he's a top 5 draft pick. Like,
true,
he's such an athletic freak.
Wide receiver university. It's just homegrown over there.
That's LSU. LSU's wide receiver. We're looking at that right now in the NFL, but yeah.
Who are you guys picking to win it? Rankle? I think
I think Notre Dame's going to win it. I think Penn State Notre Dame, in my mind, is going to be one hell of a game, and Notre Dame's going to need to get that rushing attack with actually real running backs. So then Riley Leonard trying to run over guys to actually win this game. But with Notre Dame's defense and their coaching, like, they stole a possession on that fake punt that ended up being offsides. That's how you win ball games. That's how you win close ball games. And I think the Notre Dame team is firing on all cylinders right now.
You make a good point, Rank. The way Ohio State looked, I don't know if we can deny just how bad they made Oregon, who went 13-0, how bad they made them look. Granted, I think Texas has a slight chance. If you look at that first drive versus ASU, I thought Texas was going to run away with the game very fast. If they could somehow bottle that up and avoid late mistakes, Quinn Ewers, interception when you need to take care of the ball and run out the game. If you can avoid that, you have a chance. But I think Ohio State probably takes this one, and I don't know. They would be my pick right now. They look like the best team out of the 4, in my opinion.
Question for you guys. Would it be a flaming hot take to say that Archie Manning will play the second half of this game?
Maybe. I think he should. Like that, there's no doubt in my mind he should be the starting quarterback there.
I completely agree. I think
if it's a bad situation at halftime, I don't see why they should try something different.
Little Tua Jalen Hurts action over here. Like, is it backup coming in?
All right,
I
Liam,
think,
we didn't get your pick.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I just really like the way their defense played tonight. And, man, it's going to be – I'm just so excited for that Penn State game. It's going to be an absolute slugfest.
Next
So Notre
Wednesday,
Dame
right?
opens as 1.5-point favorites in the Orange Bowl. That'll be in a week from today. OSU opens as 6-point favorites on the 10th,
Wow.
the Cotton Bowl, and then on the 20th, we'll see the winners of those two, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 Eastern. We'll see what happens there, but we got 4 really good teams. I do want to ask you guys about the first round. Obviously, this is a brand new format, and I think there's a lot of schools of thoughts here. There weren't really that many close games outside of Texas Clemson for a little bit. Do you guys think that the structure itself is flawed, or maybe the selection for those teams that lost was flawed?
I don't think selection was wrong. I think you had to deliver these guys, and as we saw in the Alabama, South Carolina, and bowl games, like those 2 teams did not deserve to be here. I think you're always going to have a problem with these backhand teams losing to these great teams. It's always happened in college football. Like these playoffs past couple of years have been blowouts in these situations. In my mind, the goal is to, when you get to this point right now, have the 4 best teams left, and it's hard to argue these are not the 4 best teams in college football still standing, which makes it really exciting. Do I think they should probably get rid of conference winners getting buys? To an extent, yeah, but other sports do it. The NFL does this. We're having the same situation this weekend. Like, it doesn't bother me too much.
I don't know. I think we're starting to see in all sports that having a bye is not as beneficial as one may think. We see it in baseball all the time. Basketball is kind of the only one, but the NBA is a different animal. In college sports, I think it's a beautiful thing that no team should have a bye. Next year, I'd love to see a 16, or whenever in the future. I'd love to see him go to even a bigger one. I just think it's more football and it's great.
Yeah, I think it's a case-by-case basis. I like your point, and we'll get into the Lions-Vikings games, which I think that bye is crucial for both teams. But I like your point. I mean, these are college kids. They haven't played as many games. It's not as physical as the NFL. You know, I don't think you need that bye as much. And to your point, how much did it really benefit Oregon? You know, maybe that week off was detrimental to them. Who knows? Who can really speculate?
You can think about, like, to Liam's point, home field advantage on the bye did not help anybody. All 4 teams who did not get byes won these games. And I think it does help, especially like if you think Ohio State coming off the loss to Michigan, that was the last game they played. They came fired up for a home playoff game against Tennessee that they blew the doors out.
Yes.
Like, the confidence that team gained from that game going into Oregon is like momentous. Like that is just a huge difference maker. Like all these teams, Notre Dame hadn't won a college football playoff game before. They go in, beat an Indiana team at home with the environment there. Like Penn State's been overlooked at times. Like I really think that first round game at home in that environment really helped these teams.
Oh, and to your point, Penn State had a whiteout game.
Yeah.
That's new. I mean, how much more momentum do you get from that?
You carry this momentum throughout the playoffs. These are going to be next Thursday, Friday. 2 great games that I'm excited to watch.
Very excited. All right, should we switch over to the NFL?
Yes, we can.
Rank, we don't have a Thursday night game, unfortunately, but we did have a Monday night game. So walk us through what happened. And also, I haven't looked at the records anymore. Is there something to play for between you two next week?
Is it all wrapped up?
I guess it depends on if we want to call it wrapped up, because I realized, so 2 things. We'll start with where we're at. Monday Night Football happened. Lions-Niners, wonderful game, great game. 2 teams that I think going into the season we would expect to be 1-2 in the NFC. But
yeah,
Lions came out ahead, and we all picked the Lions. So another win for us.
I was
Looking at the
shocked by
record,
your pick, Rank, to be honest.
what?
I was a bit shocked by your pick.
Yeah, but I didn't pick. I felt like the Niners were falling off. Lions had more to play for. I was they didn't have anything to play for, but Dan Campbell's team got fired up. Looking at the records, Liam is now 15-10. I'm 13-12, and Truett's 6 for 19.
Oh my
So
god!
7 for 18. 7 for 18. My bad.
Jesus.
But still not great.
You know, you guys would both have to agree to it, but we do have 3 Saturday games we could call prime time if you know.
So there is 2 Saturday games which are replacing Monday Night Football because they're on ESPN. So
Okay.
in my mind, it's a Monday Night Football game, Liam. As well as there is the first round of the playoffs. There is a Monday Night Football game. So that is obviously definitely in play for that one. If Liam was willing to bet on these 2 Saturday games this weekend, I would gladly take picks.
All right, so Rank, I'd assume that you're just going to fade me because that's your only chance of tying me.
Not necessarily, because there's 3 games left.
Oh.
So there'll be 2 Saturday games and a Monday Night Football game, and I'm down by 2. So
Okay.
one of them I could not
Monday
fade you if I wanted to.
Okay. I got to think.
Saturday games: Browns, Ravens,
Yeah, what do you
Bengals,
got?
Steelers.
And those are very big. Like those teams are fighting for stuff outside of the Browns. So
I'd
it's not
also,
like
Liam,
best
if you
starter.
want to, I would do just the 2 games. You want to go Bengals, Steelers, and the Monday Night Football wildcard game. Ignore the Browns, Ravens game.
I mean, yeah, it's minus 20.5. So, like, that's just such a crapshoot there. I don't know. Yeah. So what are the 2 matchups?
Would you take Steelers plus 2.5 against the Bengals?
Yeah.
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 All right. I'll take Bengals minus 2.5.
Beautiful.
All right, we got it. We got a final showdown here, and I'm not even going to make picks to make sure my
What?
record. All right, I'll make picks. I don't want my record to get worse. What are the lines again, Sean?
We're just doing the 1 game this weekend. Bengals minus 2.5 at the Steelers.
Give me Bengals. They got. I mean, both teams have a lot to play for, but Bengals are the one team you do not want to see right now, the way that offense is. Russell
All right.
Wilson's been a little shaky as of late.
So, Liam, how it's going to work is if somehow I win this game,
Mhm.
then we'll do the Monday Night Football wild card 1. And if we're tied at that point, we'll figure out a tiebreaker.
Okay.
What happens?
So a
if I-
lot rests on your Bengals, Rank.
Yeah. And I'm confident with that. I'm perfectly fine taking my Bengals to decide my season.
I really like this bet.
Ride or dies.
Yeah. Do you want to get into their NFL stuff, Trude? I'll let you lead us through your questions for us.
Yeah, so the Pro Bowl rosters were announced today. Obviously, we're going to have some reactions. Who got snubbed? Who was deserving of their first Pro Bowl? And then I want to know what was the most head-scratching. I think this year in particular, there was a couple that I didn't think made a lot of sense. You know, this is an interesting Pro Bowl roster in general. Mahomes is not on this roster, so it's obviously going to be one that's people are going to disagree with. But I want to know first, who was your snub for this roster?
I can go first. He's the Giants' number 1 wide receiver, and he's leading the league by storm. Malik Neighbors should be a Pro Bowler. It is a shame he's not. He is he's so good. I think they should get rid of this AFC, NFC BS. Like, you're telling me Zay Flowers deserves a Pro Bowl over Malik Neighbors. Like, come on, give me a break. Malik Neighbors should be a Pro Bowler.
Rank, I agree with you, and I'm not even going to go into the NFC, AFC. I don't think Terry McLaurin should have gotten it at all, to be honest. I would be happy if Malik Neighbors got it. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba should have gotten it. I'd be happy if Drake London got it. A.J. Brown, I think, are all more deserving. Terry McLaurin does have 12 touchdowns, which is tied for the lead, which is great amongst NFC wide receivers. But all those guys I mentioned have more yards, more targets. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Liam?
Yeah, I'm gonna choose another wide receiver that I really think should have got it. He was, in my opinion, the best rookie wide receiver, Brian Thomas. Unbelievable season. All he did was catch touchdowns, yards. He racked them up with, like Rank said, a quarterback situation that wasn't too hot, didn't help him out, much like Malik Neighbors. But I think Brian Thomas should definitely be a Pro Bowler.
I'm gonna go in a different direction, even though I kind of just said piggybacked on Ranks. But I'm gonna go with Leonard Williams. A little bit of bias here, obviously, Seahawks interior D lineman, but he has had one of the best years of his career, and to see Vita Vea in there ahead of him really grinding my gears, and I'll just quickly go through it. Vita Vea's got 6 sacks and 26 tackles. Great. Leonard Williams in 15 games, 1 pick six, 9 sacks, 33 tackles. I really don't understand where the logic was there. This is easily one of Leonard Williams' best years of his career. It's kind of our only guy on our D-line. A little frustrating for sure.
It's fair. Pro Bowls in general, Pro Bowl is probably the stupidest of all the ones because there's 3 guys per position. Half these guys, I bet you that every single maybe not every single quarterback, but I bet 4 out of the 6 quarterbacks that were chosen for the Pro Bowler will not actually be in Orlando this year.
Yeah, with injuries in the Super Bowl. And you know what pisses me off is all the replacements, they count as like actual Pro Bowl.
How did Mac Jones?
That's not how it's ridiculous. You were not voted as a Pro Bowler. You were a replacement for someone that was voted. Like, you should not have that same honor.
The list of randomest Pro Bowlers is ridiculous.
They have to just include, like, I don't understand why they don't just include a bunch of Pro Bowlers. Like, why even have replacements? Nominate 5 wide receivers, 6 wide receivers in every single conference. Like, for goodness sake. I mean, a bunch of these guys deserve to get in.
Well, and at some point they're just gonna get rid of this fucking flag football game, and then it doesn't even matter if you're injured or not. So
everybody forgot Tua Tagovailoa was a Pro Bowler last year.
Christ. Geno Smith was too, undeserving.
Wasn't Mac Jones a Pro Bowler at one point?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Rank, I'm going to let you go first for the most deserved first Pro Bowl because I wanted to take yours, but I knew you were going to choose it, so I'm going to let you go first on this one.
I would like to shout out to one of the first guys in NFL history to be drafted by the Jets and somehow escape the dark place known as Florham Park where the New York Jets practice. Sam Darnold deserves all the credit. He's bounced around. He was with an amazing Panthers quarterback room that does not get enough love from back in the day, all the way to San Francisco. Shout out Kyle Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell for reviving this man's career. And I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for calling it all year that Sam Darnold was going to come into this job and lead this Vikings to the playoffs. And that is what he's done. More and better each week. He keeps getting better and better. He's outdueling Jordan Love, outdoing these great quarterbacks in the NFL. Sam Darnold is elite.
Ooh.
Spicy rank.
Question mark.
Elite? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Sam Darnold, congrats on your first Pro Bowl.
I wouldn't mind if you had a period behind that instead of a question mark, Rank. I really wouldn't.
Yeah. He's been elite. I'll give the guy his flowers. He's played great. But it all comes down to this. Battle for that 1 seed. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be very, very exciting.
We'll get now. Liam, who's your most deserved first Pro Bowler?
A man who's near and dear to my heart. He saved me from fantasy punishment 2 years ago. Mr. Jerry Jeudy earned his first Pro Bowl honors this year, and he played absolutely incredible. Since week 8, 900 receiving yards. He was the pure beneficiary of a Jameis Winston. I don't know what the experience, the Jameis Winston experience. He was catching, 3 touchdown games, almost 200 yards in receiving in single games. Really turned himself around on a new team and revitalized his career. He's a good wide receiver, and he deserved that Pro Bowl.
He had such a bad time in Denver. Like, you would have thought that having a year of Russell Wilson would have helped a little bit, but it seemed like off the stats, off the paper, just like a bad fit. And it's like you said, it's Jameis Winston experience, and I'm just glad he got the good side of it.
I got a question for you guys. Can you imagine where the Broncos would be if they still had him and Sutton and Bo Nix now? Oh my goodness.
Wouldn't we have to fight for a playoff spot right now?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't. I'm going to go with other side of the Vikings. The Vikings defense, as much as Sam Darnold's been doing well, so is their defense. Andrew Van Ginkel, the linebacker for the Vikings, led the league in tackles for loss and sacks. The guy's an absolute beast. I didn't even know who he was until earlier this year. I saw someone here in Dallas wearing a Vikings Van Ginkel jersey, and I was like, who the hell is that? And this guy, very deserved, and honestly one of the leaders of that defense. So well deserved. Last question of the day, Rank. I'm going to start with you. Head scratching.
All right, I'm going to take this interesting direction for head scratching. It's head scratching to me that Zay Flowers is one of the top 4 wide receivers in the AFC. Not that it's wrong, because looking at the AFC, there's really not like great wide receivers this year. But it is crazy to think that he's top 4 in that category, which has made me to think that the NFC and AFC are complete opposite. You have the really great quarterbacks in the NFC, and you got the really great wide receivers in the AFC, and the other way around. Like the AFC great quarterbacks, NFC great wide receivers, and it seems like the AFCs are better. So maybe quarterback or wide receivers.
I don't think it's a bad take at all, to be honest. There is a bit of an imbalance. I'll agree with you there.
That's left me head scratching.
Liam, what about you?
I'm picking a guy that I just thought was going to be better this year, Jonathan Taylor. He consistent yard wise, but he didn't get in the end zone at one point for like 6 straight games, and half of his touchdowns has come in the past 2 weeks against the Giants and the Titans, and they couldn't even beat the Giants. I just don't think that's worthy of a Pro Bowl selection.
I think that's totally fair. This is not even one of Jonathan Taylor's good seasons by his standards, so I totally agree with you there. I'm going to go with, and I know he's a fan favorite of yours, Liam, so I feel bad saying this. I'm going to go with Nico Collins. The first thing I thought about when I saw this was the guy missed a lot of games. He only played 11 games so far, so I was just confused on how the stats added up. Finished with almost 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, which is great for 11 games. I will give it that. But to your point, like you mentioned earlier, I think Brian Thomas is more deserving. I think someone like Ladd McConkey was much more deserving. I think even someone like Garrett Wilson, who's not having a stellar season, I think someone like Courtland Sutton, who had a great second half of the season with Bo Nix, are all more deserving. I have to imagine Nico Collins was just a fan favorite because when you miss 5-6 games like that, I was super shocked to see that.
I completely agree. A wise man once said, availability is the best ability. And when you're missing, a huge chunk of the season, you're just not playing. No benefit. I agree with you on this one, Truett.
Are we implementing a new NBA rule? Only a certain percent. You need to play a certain number of games to make the Pro Bowl.
I would say no, because NFL, unlike NBA, the NFL is a total stat heavy. We look at total yards, total touchdowns. NBA is average. Which again, I'm giving credit to Nico Collins. 1,000 yards in 11 games is quite impressive. But I don't know.
I think once again goes back to the lack of wide receiver depth in the AFC. Out of the top 15 wide receivers / tight ends in receiving yards, the AFC's got 4 out of 15.
Really? Yeah, and one of them's a tight end in Bowers.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's not good.
I can't believe that. That makes it even more crazy to me that Brian Thomas wasn't selected.
Brian Thomas, that's ridiculous. He's 5th.
Top
he
5
should
in
be
the world, right? He's top 5 in touchdowns and yards.
Yeah, he is.
What percentage of – I don't know how they split the fan voting versus like all the other, but I'd have to assume that's the culprit here. Because, who's watching Jaguars games at the end of the day besides us hardcore analysts out here?
Brian Thomas.
Yes. Shout out.
All right, we have a preview for what I think is going to be the game of the weekend. I am so stoked about it. And I know that we are not going to agree on who we're rooting for here. Have a great conversation about it. We have Lions, Vikings. Lions wins. Well, whoever wins, they get that 1 seed in the NFC. The loser gets bumped all the way down to the 5th seed and does not get a home game or the bye. Which team needs this win more? I know it's a stupid question, but who needs that bye more? And who needs that home field.
I think me and Lee are both going to agree on this one, and it's the Vikings. The Lions are the battle-tested team, potentially even I would argue say the better football team. So I can see the Lions going on the road and winning games. The Vikings away from Minneapolis having to go into, let's see, the 4 seed would be going down to Tampa. I could see them losing a first game down in Tampa. The Vikings need to win this game.
It's interesting. I agree with you, Sean, for that reason, but also the Lions just aren't healthy. They have not been healthy all year. And for them to get another bye week and just rest would help them. I think that this would be a rare case where you don't want or where you I don't know. I think both teams really have their issues, and both teams are going to be looking for different reasons.
I can understand that. I think the Lions need this more for a bye point of view rather than for a home field advantage point of view.
Yes.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna echo your point, Liam. They are just incredibly injured. They're one of the 2 teams with, I think it was both the Niners and the Lions, they said during that broadcast, have the most people on IR. Also, I haven't broken it down how many of the players that are on the IR are on defense, but I don't think people are talking about enough that this Lions defense over the last 6-7 games has been absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
In the last 4 games, they've given up 31, 48, 17, and 34 points, which this used to be a very good defensive unit. Brian Branch, obviously Hutchinson's out, but they need to get healthy on both sides of the ball because that defense is really struggling.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, going up against Jettas and Aaron Jones, it's going to be quite a game. I'm super stoked. So, Rankle, who's your X factor in this game?
I'm going to do the one wide receiver you did name. When Jordan Addison and Sam Darnold are connecting offensively and gives you another dimension to this offense, that's really when I think this Vikings start to click and start to go. Because you can double Jay Jettis all you want, but if Jordan Addison's getting the ball and making those catches, this Vikings team is scary. So I think if Jordan Addison has a big game, the Vikings are winning the game.
Rank, that's a great take. He is a fucking reception machine.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's a lot of versatility, their offense, to your point.
Liam?
I'm going to say my man, Mr. Gibbs. With David Montgomery out, all the ability falls on him to really create havoc from the backfield. And we know Dan Campbell is just a genius, but he's also so chaotic. I bet you other people are going to get runs back there. We see Josh Reynolds sometimes James Williams. But I think it really comes down to the true running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, and he had quite the week last week. I think he's going to be fired up and ready to put on the show.
I agree with you, but I'm going to go in a different route because I do think Gibbs he's got a lot on his shoulders without Montgomery, obviously. But I think to open up that running game, you need to open up the passing game. I know Amon-Ra is going to do his thing. I need Laporta to get open and to block when need be. I need Jameson Williams, who has been the de facto wide receiver too. He needs to make some plays and not be as stupid as he's been sometimes this season. Because if Jared Goff is going to do his thing, that O-line is going to do his thing. But if you're Jameson Williams, you got to get separation. Open up the passing game. Open up the deep ball against the good Vikings secondary so that they don't pack the box and Gibbs can do his thing.
I agree. I think Jameson Williams, his big playability, big plays can change football games. And if you can have one passing play that he's done at times over the top against zero blitz or things like that, that is Jameson Williams is an X factor for this Lions team.
Yeah, I got one more for you guys. Jared Goff, second in yards this year, fourth in touchdowns. My God, the man is just – don't kill me for saying this. He's underrated. He's very underrated. I think he's going to have a great game. I'm excited to watch this QB battle, Rank. I'm excited for it.
Was this swap the Stafford Goff swap one of the biggest wins in NFL history?
Yeah. Especially if the Lions win one.
Yeah. The Rams got the Super Bowl. The Lions are set up for a while with Jared Goff at the helm. This has worked out great for both.
I want to say the Rams like sold their soul to get that Super Bowl, but I mean they might make the
They're
playoffs.
right back
They're
in
the
it.
3
Yeah.
seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. All right, Rank. Who wins this game?
The Vikings are winning.
Liam?
You know who I'm gonna say. I'm rooting for the Lions, baby.
Lion pride, baby.
Yes, sir.
That should be that's a Sunday night game, right?
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
True, it is your pick.
Yep.
I'm going with the Lions. The Vikings are
Yeah.
hot, and the Lions are reeling a little bit. They've been winning shootouts, and the Vikings have been hot. So I can see the Vikings winning, but I'm choosing the Lions. Dan Campbell's going to take his huge 100-pound nuts and throw them on Sam Darnold's face.
So question about this, playoffs. So whoever wins gets the 1 seed. If the losing team of this game wins their wild card matchup, is it an instant matchup of these two teams in the divisional? Is that how it works?
Not necessarily, because they reseed, so one would play the lowest, or going to say if like Washington or somebody else won their game.
So they
the
do
winners will play that.
reseed
Also, if the favorites won, if
if all the favorites win.
If the
Plus-
favorites win plus like the
Or
wild card wins
all
this
the
one
division
game.
winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then I
Okay.
think yes, it would be an auto at that point. Which that can happen.
Wow.
But I mean, you have sneaky teams. You have the Packers who are going to be a wild card. Like it might not happen that way, but
Yeah.
it'd be interesting.
Very interesting.
We have a former friend of the show who we're not huge fans of anymore. His name is Saquon Barkley. He was in position to possibly break Eric Dickerson's record for all-time rushing yards in a season. But Nick Sirianni decided to bench him in Week 18 versus the Giants. How are we feeling about that?
Oh, I think I'm personally really annoyed because this means the Giants are going to win this week, and I'm really going to hate myself. But on a deeper level, I feel like as I reflect on sports, there's been too much, as we discussed this NBA thing, there's been too much focus on just winning a championship. And there are more important things in a football season than just winning a championship. And we have to, otherwise the regular season is meaningless. And I think Saquon should go for this record because this is a huge record that's stayed forever. Like, this is a career-defining thing, and that should be also important in the NFL these days.
I completely agree, Rank. Saquon is on a trajectory to do great things. I'm not going to throw him in any categories he shouldn't be thrown in, but having this record means a lot. I don't know why he wouldn't overrule and want to go for it.
I was watching the Stephen A show today, and they had a great point about this. And they're like, well, if you're going to rest him, you better damn win the Super Bowl because you really have no other excuse than that. And, Liam, you were talking about earlier with rest and too much rest. They're the 2 seed, right? So they get a bye. Is that correct?
No.
They do not get a bye.
It's
Just the 1 seed. Okay. Still, a week off from football, what is that going to do to Saquon and his momentum? I don't know. And also, Greg, no offense to the Giants, though. He could easily get it if he wanted.
Oh, yeah.
He can get it in half, yeah. Why not just play the first half, see what happens? If you're feeling good, go out and get that 20-yard, 30-yard run real quick.
If by some miracle he's got 10 yards at half, yeah, bench him for the rest of the game. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a lot of clinching game scenarios that we're going to get into before we move on. The games that you guys are betting on, Ravens versus Cleveland, Steelers versus the Bengals. Who is going to win this division? I want to hear from both of you. So I have a feeling you guys will choose different answers.
I think going into this, before we took this break for Christmas, I think the Steelers kind of have this division not locked up, but looking dangerous, especially the way they played against the Ravens the first time in the season, their wins they were racking up. At this point, the The Ravens are 20.5-point favorites. The Ravens are winning this division hands down easily. Like, this is probably one of the biggest upsets of all time. If Bailey Zappi, who's the new quarterback for the Browns, and his Browns offense finds a way to beat the Ravens.
Right. If one team can beat the Ravens right now, it is the Browns.
If they had Jameis Winston starting, I believe it. But I don't believe with Bailey Zappi.
Yes, I agree. I think the Ravens have this one locked up. I mean, 20.5-point favorites. My God. I wonder who the Browns are going to be throwing out there. It's going to be funny to see that.
No clue. Rank, I agree with you about what you were saying before Christmas. And I'm a little shocked because at that point, I essentially thought the Steelers had it, I'll say it, like guaranteed locked up. So what's been going on here with the Steelers that has just led to this collapse?
It seems to be like, I feel like there's a lot of praise given to Mike Tomlin for all his winning seasons. But at least I can think of two now that they've started off strong and have fallen off. That year they went 10-0 and missed the playoffs. Like, this team seems to have a problem with finishing seasons.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is Russell Wilson's regressed a little bit. He's fallen back to the old Russ we've seen in like Denver. It's not the same Russ we saw at the start of the season. I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to mixing a little Justin Fields this game, see what he can spark this offense.
Wow.
I've been saying it, Frank. 3-game losing streak for the Steelers.
Guess who didn't have a 3-game losing streak this year, Liam?
That's right. Preach, Rankle. Preach.
So the loser takes one of the wild card spots, correct? And I don't think anyone else has the other two locked up, which leads us to the last games. And before I get into this, if you had told me like 3 weeks ago that the Dolphins would still have a chance to make the playoffs, I would have said you're absolutely like out of your mind. But the Bengals, Broncos, and Miami Dolphins all have chances to get those last two spots. I have the games for you guys right on the screen. Who do you think gets those last two spots?
I'm going to be irrational just for the fun of it and just for like the hype I've been getting this team all season. The Bengals are it's hard to call the Broncos not deserving, but the Bengals, with the way Joe Burrow is playing, deserve this spot because Joe Burrow, if he gets a spot, is the MVP of the league and should be the MVP of the league regardless how he's playing. Like, this is a Russell Westbrook type of performance. We'll put it in NBA terms right there.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals will beat the Steelers. I think the Jets will beat the Dolphins because the Jets, when they know to play for, are the most dangerous team in football. I don't have faith in the Chiefs with Carson Wentz winning a game, but who knows? Matt Flynn for the Packers a couple of years ago, 7 touchdowns. Carson Wentz wants a payday this offseason. I don't know. I'm having faith that Carson Wentz and this Kansas City Chiefs offense could find a way to win.
God. I can't stand by and hear this nonsense. I can't. The Bengals haven't beaten a team that's like clinched a playoff spot yet. The only playoff hopeful team that they've beaten this year was last week. So I guess that was last
Great time to get
hot. I really want to see the Broncos get in. That game last week, seeing that big fat doink, oh my gosh. I thought it was written like perfectly for the Broncos to get in. But you know what it all comes down to? They didn't take care of business against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. If they win that game, they're not even in this position.
That's fair.
And now, I'm not saying, this isn't a shoo-in game against the Chiefs.
No, not at all.
Man, but
you tank this. The Chiefs should throw their third string quarterback in this game. You don't want to play you don't want to play the Bengals. You want to play the Broncos, whoever the 4th seed is. The Chiefs do not want any piece of this Bengals team.
I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens because you never know who could win next year, or the wild card games. But yeah, you probably want to throw this game a little bit, not let Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would not want to play this Bengals team like the offense. I mean, it'll be a shootout regardless, just because of that defense. But if I got Jamar Chase running down my throat, like I'm horrified. So, just looking at the games, I'm assuming that Miami's going to beat the Jets.
And they're probably just going to get in from that,
With
right?
the Miami in.
So the Miami has to win and Denver has to lose to the Chiefs for them to beat. Broncos are in, or the Jets would have to beat the Dolphins, which I'm not seeing happen, and Cincinnati would have to lose. So I'm assuming it's a Broncos win and you're in too.
Okay.
Bengals are the ones that need the most.
Yeah, the Broncos win and they're in.
Gotcha.
Williams, you taking the Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Truett?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Broncos, but you do make
I'll
a
say
very
this,
point about throwing the game. Like
yeah,
Andy Reid mind games here.
it would be very Broncos-esque if they lost this game.
I would like a script read if the Bengals make the playoffs and the Vikings win next week.
All right, Rachel. If you end up winning the Monday Night Football picks, Drew will read your script for how poorly he's done. That's
I have to read it? What? Liam would be the one reading it.
Sorry, Mr. 7-18 over there. I don't, come on.
All right, let's talk about the NFC. And one of my favorite teams in the NFL is competing for a division crown, the Falcons and the Buccaneers.
If the Falcons, Bengals, and Vikings all make the playoffs, Liam, you have to read it.
Okay. If that happens, yeah. If we somehow fuck around and win this game versus Tampa Bay, I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna be so mad. I want Bucky Irving to have like 300 rushing yards and a bunch of touchdowns. Everything else is fine. I hope Mike Evans. You know what? This is the one time where I hope he does well and gets that money. I think they're going to be very motivated to beat us for a couple different reasons. Really, really don't want the Falcons to get in the playoffs.
The Falcons are winning this game against the Panthers. This is clearly a Michael Penix great game. He's looked good. Got to give him the credit.
He did look good. He looked very good.
Yeah, he looked a lot better than the guy they had in there before. I'll tell you that.
He's injured. Future Browns quarterback. Michael Penix and the Falcons are winning this game.
What?
Falcons, Vikings, Bengals. 3 playoff teams.
Script.
Book it. Also, Liam, our proud fan.
If that happens, it's going to be a rough show for me. I'll tell you that.
You guys are not going to want to miss that show next week if that does happen. We got 2 more sports to talk about. We got the NBA.
True it. Who you got?
Who do I have? I have the Bucks.
Yes.
I
don't know if I should be happy that you're tailing me with all of these, but
this is why you're
like
losing, Liam. You know, have you not learned this season that when Tritt tells you, you lose?
That probably is like 100% correlated. Sorry, Liam.
it's okay.
Yeah, we'll have to see next week because it's going to be very interesting what happens. Also, I now hate the Commanders because they are the one thing that stops the Seahawks from potentially making the playoffs. If the Falcons had won that game, the Seahawks would be playing for the NFC West this week. Very sad. We got the Lions to win. We got who else won? The Dolphins. I don't even know who it was, but it's all we needed. We have 2 more sports. We have MLB, NBA. We are really behind on our MLB news, so I'm curious if you guys just want to bang that out right now, especially considering the type of news we're going to be talking about.
Yep.
Let's
jump right into it. Rakel, dare I say, one of the best days in New York Mets history. Walk me through your first emotion.
I was sitting on the floor in my apartment, and I didn't say like a single word. I just screamed and started calling Liam and did not make a single announcement of what happened. I literally had no other words. I was left completely speechless, just shocked, staring at my phone, confirming Twitter sources that this was actually true. It was wild.
I mean, joking around, I probably said it 100 times during the season. Oh, yeah, that's Juan Soto, future Met. I never thought this was going to happen. Never in a million years. And to poach him from the Yankees, oh, sweet, sweet victory. He's going to be inserted into a lineup that was already dangerous. And I'm just so excited for baseball season.
I've spent the past 22 years of my life listening to Yankees fans saying the numbers 27 and saying they run the town, and to steal their prize player away from them has to be a top 5 Mets moment of my life.
Yes, easily.
Probably top 3, maybe top 1.
Yeah, maybe the best thing that's happened in our lifetime to the Mets. Oh man,
It's going to be an exciting season. We need. You want to talk like Liam? Have you seen the Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman rumors?
I want Pete back.
Yeah.
I know he did not have his best year last year, and he's regressed a little, but he's just such a cornerstone guy, and he hit the biggest home run, arguably, in Mets history with that wild card shot.
Just picture that infield of Pete, Acuna, or Mauricio, Lindor, and Vientos.
Come on.
That is
Pete is on pace to break every single record that we have, hitting wise, home runs. I mean, he's a Met for life, and we need him back.
I want him back badly.
Yeah. I really like what you guys have done. Like, obviously, the Soto deal is great. Really doesn't matter how much money it was because it's Daddy Cohen with his unlimited pockets. But I like what you did. I want to get your take on Clay Holmes in a second. You brought back I'm blanking on the pitcher. Manaea. I like a lot of those moves. So where does Clay Holmes, like, is he going to start? How is he going to factor into?
He'll be a back-end starter, either like a 4 or 5. But we're still waiting on that Japanese guy, Mr. Roki Sasaki. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, he's going to be a Padre, so I'd calm down if I were you.
All right. Well, still, a lot of the pitching market, it's still got to be shown out. But I trust in David Stearns. He showed what he did. I mean, his first season in, Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, letting David Peterson have a nice role. I mean, our pitching staff did really well this season. And Clay Holmes, we got him on a cheap deal. He's going to be hungry too, still being in New York to show people that he can pitch.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned. We literally, argument's sake, got our best pitcher back this year because saying that she'd be healthy now. So that's huge. David Peterson's one of my favorite Mets pitchers in the staff right now. He's pitched great in big spots. I would love to see another starter come in here, somebody get in. Obviously, a couple arms in the bullpen, but these are all things that can be fixed at the deadline to an extent. Like we're in the race, got to keep it to the deadline, go in, make those big game splashes for those guys. So I'm not concerned about the team. I'm excited. It sucks because as we were talking about the NL versus the AL, there's like 10 out of 15 teams in the NL are trying to go for it, and there's the Yankees in the AL, and that's it. And they're not even sure. They lost their best player. Like nobody in the AL other than the Red Sox have gotten better. It sucks, but this is how it is.
The NL East next year, Truett, the NL East and the NL West could have, that's going to be the playoff picture.
Yeah.
You got the Padres, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Giants will always be vying for a spot. And then you got the Braves, Phillies, Mets, and the Nationals are going to be decent next year,
Young and going up, yeah.
8 of those teams could be a playoff team. That's insane.
Yes, very, very frustrating. I kind of want to stick in the AL for a second and talk about the Astros, who, despite everything that they've been through, I think they're still going to be one of the better teams in the AL, just because, to your point, it's so depleted. But like, how do you justify everything that's happened with the Astros additions and subtractions?
It's weird to me why they would trade Kyle Tucker and let Bregman walk, but then sign Christian Walker to a nice deal when you already have Jose Abreu. They put a lot of money into him. I think the Astros are very dependent on their pitching, but they lost some key hitters. I don't really know where they're going.
I think the Astros are trying to have a competitive rebuild. I think they're rebuilding. They're getting guys out of here, getting these guys in for younger pieces to an extent, but. Like, yes, you could argue why do you get rid of Tucker but bring in Walker? And I feel like Tucker's got like the hometown emotions. I think you had to get rid of these old guys, this old guard, and bring in a Christian Walker who just is like a stopgap for a couple of years so these guys get up in the minor leagues. Like, as you said, the Astros are going to be competitive. They're probably still the favorites to win the AL West, which is ridiculous, but that's the case. And they're just trying to rebuild while also having some guys there. He's also a trade candidate. Look at midseason, some team needs him, like you could trade him.
Yeah.
So speaking of competitive rebuild, I like that term. You obviously have Tucker going to the Cubs, and now I want to segue into Bellinger going to the Yankees, which you have this very interesting thing where they have a bunch of washed-up MVPs. Goldie's there, Fried is there now, Devin Williams from the Brewers. I feel like that fits your category a little bit of competitive rebuild, but I want to know what you guys think about that.
I think the Yankees, in order to be good, need everything to go right for them. And as we've seen, a lot of things do not go right for the Yankees. You know, they talk about, we signed 5 guys that equal the WAR of Soto. 5 guys adding up to 1 guy's value, that's not like –
it's not good.
That should happen, right? They signed Max Fried to a monster deal.
I think it's biggest ever for a lefty.
It was the biggest ever for a lefty.
Yeah.
We'll see how that happens. We'll see how that pans out. I think this team has a lot of hype, and they lost their second best player. It's gonna be
I would not use the word competitive rebuild for the Yankees. I would use the words scrambling and last-ditch effort.
Yeah, I'd say hoping and praying is good.
They struck out. They obviously did not have a good plan B and decided to sign a bunch of old, washed-up guys that this Yankees team is going to look like a shell themselves. But once again, they are probably the favorites to win the AL, and this is what it's going to be like. But this team, the NL champion, NLCS is the World Series next year.
Yeah,
it was this year too.
Yes. You guys probably are happy that the Braves lose Fried. They got rid of Soler too. Haven't really made any additions whatsoever. So while you say the NL East is competitive, obviously it's good to see one of your rivals go down.
Yeah, I agree. But the Braves are still going to be competitive. Acuna's back next year. This seems to be really good.
Guys, I'm looking at like over-under for records projected next year. I really can't see the Yankees getting more than 94 wins. Like, as weak as the Red Sox got better, you know, the Orioles are still up and coming. The Blue Jays will play better at some point, maybe, and the Rays are the Rays. Like, it's going to be tough.
I can agree with that. I can see them 89 to 90. I think the Orioles should be, and now you're thinking about it, the Orioles are probably the favorite to win this division.
Yes.
And Yankees should be second.
I think the Sox are going to be sneaky very good next year. Well, not even sneaky. I think their pitching is going to be unbelievable.
Would be exciting.
So, NL West, this has been a pretty rough offseason as a fan of a team in the NL West. Obviously, you have Corbin Burns going to the D-backs, but, you know, the Dodgers get Blake Snell, which crushed my heart. Crushed my heart big time. Re-signed Teoscar, re-signed Treinen. The Padres themselves have not re-signed or, you know, let go of Ha-Seong Kim. Jurickson Profar is still unsigned. David Peralta is still unsigned. Tanner Scott, who was one of the big additions for us for that bullpen, unsigned. Haven't added anybody. And then Kyle Higashioka, who I really liked as maybe being this temporary solution at catcher, goes to the Rangers. So I've been very disappointed with our offseason so far.
I think you have the star players intact still, Truett. I think they're going to just piece the rest of it together, which bunch of guys they signed. You're going to lose guys. The Mets have lost a couple guys. You have the star talent. The star talent's there. How you fill out the rest of the roster changes each year, and those guys that turn over. But I think you're still in a fine spot.
Yeah, and think about this too, Truett. You get year 2, Michael King. Year 2 of your boy Jackson Merrill. A full year of Fernando Tatis. you guys have a lot of things to look forward to.
I appreciate that. If you guys were in the Padres front office, this is a question I've been kind of wrestling with. How much money and for over how long would you offer Profar after the season he had? Kind of an anomaly of a season. Can he do it again? Like, what would be your strategy there?
You ideally, he is, I mean, it's going to be hard for him to replicate what he did. I would definitely keep him on as like a third or fourth outfielder, just probably a rotational guy. But you guys still have like prospects, right? I know you have that catcher prospect.
Yeah.
You guys have some players.
He hits some nukes. We have some guys coming up for sure. I think those are still a while away. If you guys, I know you're talking about Acuna's brother. If you want a second baseman, you're welcome to have Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
I think we're okay. I'll speak for David Stearns. All right. Liam, as Truitt tries to get back stream, you want to switch over to the NBA?
Yeah.
All right.
And we got to give a shout out too to our boy holding it down at Villanova.
Mikal Bridges?
No, I was going to say, not NBA shout out, college shout out. Mr. Eric Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be player of the year if he keeps this up.
He should. We'll also have to decide on who, as we try to fix the NBA media world, who is the worthy of the NBA player shout out of the week. Any suggestions this week?
Yeah, I got one, and I feel like it's overdue, even though we've only been doing this for a couple weeks. I just think the Thunder have been on unbelievable tear, and Shea's been their fearless leader. He's the MVP right now. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
I like that.
Give it to Shea.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Can't hear you, Truitt. No.
We'll take your head nodding as a yes.
I think you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Can't
hear you. No.
Liam, do you want to go into the Nets-Lakers trade as the big Lakers fan here?
Yeah. I wouldn't consider myself to be a Lakers fan. I do really enjoy their humble leader, their glorious king, Mr. LeBron Raymond James, who turned 40. I want to give a shout out to him. Happy 40th, LeBron. Well deserved. I threw a little something on the grill for you. Was drinking a little Henny, 40 shots of it. It was great. But D'Lo to the Nets. For Dorian Finney-Smith, who I think is really going to help the Lakers out. He's a great basketball player, really good winner, but I didn't really understand, this move in general.
I think it was a get rid of D'Lo move. I think they want D'Lo still in LA, and this is one way to do it.
Rank, I will say something that you will very much agree with, and that is this was a lay GM move, 100%.
Yeah.
This was not a Rob Pelinka move. This was a LeBron saying, get this motherfucker off my team right now.
Yeah.
I think
when the king talks, you listen. Good on Pelinka for just pulling the trigger on this. Honestly, much overdue in my opinion. I don't think he should have been there for the past couple of years.
He was kind of becoming a little, I don't want to say backseat, but I think Reeves is really growing. No one's talking about how Reeves is really growing into this borderline all-star level player. And obviously Dalton Connect is playing really good minutes at the wing. And it's sad, and it must say a lot that you see guys like Max Christie in minutes over D'Lo.
Yeah, they've really missed on like D'Lo, Gabe Vincent. I mean, some guys have come in and just unable to play and be impactful. I never thought D'Lo was the man for the job. I think he's all he is. He's a Julius Randle type of player. He can be a piece on a bad team that puts up numbers, but he's nothing more than that. He's not a winning basketball player.
No, and I honestly don't know. I don't think this moves the needle. I really like Finney Smith, and I liked him on the Mavs. This has just been. I've lost a lot of faith in the Lakers because it's just been a carousel of role players that come in and out. I mean, you bring up Gabe Vincent. Remember, Kendrick Nunn was there, and Wayne Ellington and Cam Reddish, and I could go on and on about the role players that have been there since they broke up that championship team. And it has just been. I don't think any role player can come in and make this team good enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure
It really-
you that rank.
I feel like out of all the stops LeBron's had, this one's definitely been the most turnover year over year over year. That like, I just you listed a lot. I'm not going to go back into it again, but it's a constant push to get LeBron one more title, and maybe this mesh of players will do it. Somehow they made a mesh with Dwight Howard that won a title that year. I'm not sure what the right combination is. I'm not sure if it's ever going to be reached in LA, but as long as LeBron's happy, Lakers are happy.
I love LeBron to death, but I will say that it is incredibly greedy of him to be getting paid $60 million a year. Not that he doesn't deserve it, but oh my God, if you want to give yourself some cap flexibility and not have to sign the Wenyen Gabriels and the Stanley Johnsons of the world, maybe take a little bit of a pay cut.
Yeah.
He took those. He took those in Miami. He took those in Cleveland, and he was like, Lakers, I'm going to screw the hell out of you guys. You'll get one title, and I'm just going to take you for all you're worth.
Well, the guy's a billionaire.
He's going after that team in Vegas. He wants his own team.
I'm never going to tell someone not to go chase that bag, but Bron, you have bags upon bags, my friend.
Yeah.
There's no need to chase anymore.
Yeah, he's really one in life. Let's just keep it buck. He's playing with his goddamn son, for Christ's sake. I mean, he might be playing with his other son, too.
Yeah.
He won't. He better not be in the league.
He's got
Imagine.
Absolute baddie at home, too.
Respectfully.
What do you guys think about the Kings firing Mike Brown, former coach of the year?
Dude, Truitt, you're probably pretty worried about Dagnall next year, right?
Oh, just because of the trend?
Yeah. Everybody that wins coach of the year doesn't have a job for a while, it seems.
It's very weird.
I Mike Brown, in my mind, I love Mike Brown. I love what he did with the Warriors. I love what he's doing in Sacramento. Him, similar to Kenny Atkinson, I think are two top head coaches who got terrible situations, got fired from bad things. Mike Brown, Mike Brown's not have a head coaching job by the start of next season, there's a travesty done in the NBA. This guy should be starting. He should have the pick of the litter. I could see him anywhere, but Mike Brown's a great head coach, and he should be somewhere.
I agree.
This Kings team also has taken a whole 180 from that one season. They went from, oh my God, Kings Warriors, the new rivalry. Is this what we're heading towards? To this, it's been fun to watch.
They really sold their soul to light the beam that one season. It's very weird because now you talk about the De'Aaron. There's a lot of De'Aaron trade rumors going on. This team is been below 500. I don't, and we've talked about the West. You know, while it's more top heavy, and we've talked about that, it's tough for these teams in the 8, 9, 10 spot to really ascend to the top 4. So I don't know what they do besides. I don't know what they do at all to try and salvage this.
It's over.
Yeah, I agree. Sell. Sabonis goes somewhere. De'Aaron Fox goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's restart this.
You don't want to end up like the Bulls, man. That is the last thing you want to end up like. Just get rid of these players and start the rebuild. You have to start somewhere.
I think you get rid of Sabonis and Fox at the deadline, and you just have a very fun second half of the season with a bunch of young guys and DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
I think that would be very fun basketball to watch.
It would be. That's Kings basketball.
Kings basketball. Another thing I want to talk about was I gotta give some Russell Westbrook love. I truly, truly believe that we have finally come out of the valley that was Russ on the Lakers. We surfaced a little bit with the Clippers, and now we are fully back on the hype train with the Nuggets. Stats are stats. Nuggets are 9-2, and Russ is the starter. Russ and Jokic just each got a triple-double in the same game. They're the 12th duo ever to do that. By the way, Russ is part of 3 of those 12 duos, just saying. I think that with the Nuggets have not been as good as they have been in the past. I think the Nuggets would have been so much worse if they did not have Russ, because you're forgetting they don't have KCP. They've lost Bruce Brown. They have lost a lot of guys on the bench. They still have that core 5 that started and won the 2023 finals. You are really missing a lot of outside production. I don't know if this is enough to win, but I think that people should be appreciating that Russ is single-handedly making Jokic better and making all his teammates around him better.
How many six man of the years have had like multiple triple doubles in a season? Probably not a lot.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I love this, Truitt. Everybody has loved to just give Russ shit, but you know what? He's playing with arguably the best player in the world right now. Of course he was going to make him better. This was a match made in heaven. They gel, they pass off each other, they cut off each other. The basketball IQ and the energy that they bring, they're both just players that want to win at the end of the day. It's basketball heaven to see them on the court together.
And I feel like Russ offers a ability to facilitate that the Nuggets kind of lacked when Jokic was not on the court. Like Jamal Murray's great as a scorer, but he's not really a playmaking guard like Russ is to an extent. That like, yes, they play great together, but also like when Russ is on the court at Jokic, it's also like the offense still flows that the Nuggets kind of lacked while Jokic was off the court in the past.
Yeah, Rank, I think Jamal Murray would be a great 2 guard. I think that would be a very good backcourt. Mm-hmm. And it's really nice to see Jokic just like get they run the pick and roll very beautifully. And Liam, I'm going to give you credit. I think you said this the other day. I mean, imagine prime Russ and prime Jokic. Oh my God! Oh, mama! God, that would just get me going. But yeah, okay. So big picture now. Where do you think the Nuggets finish this season if they don't make any moves?
I still think they're slightly below. In my hypothetical world, this is everybody healthy at their peak. I think Thunder, Mavs in tier 1, Nuggets right behind them in the next year for the West.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick the young Rockets team or unhealthy Clippers team above the Nuggets. Like the Nuggets are probably still a 3rd team. Even the Grizzlies have played well, but Grizzlies Nuggets, I'd probably have a debate on who that 3 seed should be between the 2 of them if they're healthy. But I think they maybe end up at 2 because I don't think Mavs without Luka are going to be able to get into that 2 seed.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of, you brought up the Nuggets, and it's just I don't think we've really talked about this yet this season about how bad the T-Wolves are this year.
8 seed.
Rating was on the wall. Yeah. Rating was on the wall. I think they overachieved last year, and they're coming back down to earth and then some.
Both them and the Pacers, 2 teams that overperformed and are going back to reality. Tyrese Halliburton pissed me off. Why the hell was he on an Olympic team? He is one of the most overrated guards in the NBA. It was killing me all last season. I was saying all this stuff, and I was listening to the same thing you're telling me about the Cavs now. Was talking about the Pacers last year. And it's nice to see them fall off. Not extreme. That's a little extreme, right? I understand the Cavs are better, but it's nice to see them fall off, in my opinion.
Rankle, I think you're spitting facts, though. I still can't get over how they snubbed Jaylen Brown to not make the team.
Whatever. Fuel the fire.
Yep.
Yeah, those 2 teams, like, I really don't. Is it overachieving, or is it, like, if you're talking about the T-Wolves, is it overachieving, or the fact that, like, maybe we got to give Cat more credit for what he did by adding some spacing? Like, Julius Randle does not offer the best spacing. Obviously, Gobert does not. There's not a lot of reliable offense in that front court.
I mean,
Who do you blame?
we have to. I owe Cat an apology. It's so hard to play with Rudy Gobert, and now that he's not, he's having the best season of his career by far.
Yeah, I think Cat deserves a whole lot of credit. Like we all made fun of him a lot in Minnesota, but a combination of what the T-Wolves have done without him and what the Knicks are doing with him, Cat is a top 15 player in the NBA.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It really looks like very effortless for him too, and it shouldn't be a surprise that when he's like scoring in the paint for the Knicks, like, oh my God, there's not a 7-foot slow-footed Frenchman standing right next to the basket. Like, look how open the paint is.
Yes.
Like, he's always had the shooting touch and good footwork around the perimeter, but he's just when he plays the fucking 5 and there's spacing around him, it's like, yeah, go figure that he was going to be better. Like,
of course, yeah. You give one of the best shooting big men of all time the ability to play 5 out. Come on. I mean, it's just simple. That's simple basketball.
wow, that's a really high compliment from you, Liam.
It's just true. And I mean, look at the way the Knicks are constructed. They're on the analytical wave, just like the Celtics, and it's paying off for them.
If we're shouting out Villanova, let's shout out Josh Hart, who's been an animal. He's been sucking in these rebounds like nobody's business to start the new year. December went crazy. He's like got I think since the beginning of December, he's got the 4th most rebounds out of anybody in the league, and he's a shooting guard.
Is it 5 straight games of double-digit rebounds? I believe
something like that. He's getting triple doubles. He's really been great for them.
Yeah, I mean, all of them. OG, Macau on Christmas Day. My goodness, what a show he put on. That was magical. Brunson had a 55-point outburst. This team is crazy.
Rank, I know I've been meat riding the Cavs a little bit, but do the Knicks scare you at least?
Yeah, I the Knicks and the Celtics are the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion.
What about the Knicks scares you in in a matchup specifically between those 2 teams?
Well, this team has the most energy in the NBA, the most toughness. Like, Mikal Bridges can defend. They have Josh Hart who can defend. Cat is a guy. Like, they just match up. If you go 1 through 5, they can match up pretty well against us. Obviously, Brunson's at a disadvantage defensively against our guys, like trying to guard a Drew Holiday or Jaylen Brown. But other than that, like, Cat can guard Porzingis. Like, there's guys up and down the court that can guard our guys. So I feel like matchup-wise, that's what scares me.
I would very much like to see a Cat versus Porzingis series.
That'd be fun.
I think I would not I would not let Al Horford guard Cat by any means. Shout out Al Horford for his longevity, but there is no way the man is guarding that guy.
Yeah, it's very different from a Giannis type of player. This is the type of guy that Al would not like to keep up with. I don't think it works well for him.
All right, we got anything else?
No, it's Hoops Grid.
Hoops Grid time.
Oh, wait. End of season, regular season awards for the NFL. We never did it. Next week is week 18. Do any of these awards come down to this final week? I know you alluded to one earlier.
We could spend another half hour talking about the MVP because I have a feeling I know what Rank's going to say.
Let's just talk about the MVP then. We'll just go on award. We'll talk the rest of next week.
We have to talk about it.
If the Bengals make the playoffs, Joe Burrow should be MVP.
I don't disagree with you as much as Liam is right now.
Why? Like Liam, like his stats wise, he's carrying this team. There's nobody else on this team other than Joe Burrow.
Jamar Chase.
Okay.
The offensive line is but they've lost so many games.
Not because of him.
Josh Allen's the number one reason why the Bills are where they are.
And Joe
That's
Burrow,
a carry job, and they've won almost every game. They beat the Chiefs.
I agree that if the Bengals do not make the playoffs, Josh Allen is a runaway MVP. If Joe Burrow makes the playoffs, there has to be an argument that he's in that conversation as a 1A, 1B type guy just because of how much he's doing on this team. Their defense sucks. Their offensive line sucks. The Bills have a competent head coach, a good defense, and a good O-line. Joe Burrow's got none of that.
Yeah, but that shouldn't penalize Josh Allen. Also, I don't think it's 1A, 1B. Give some respect to Mr. Lamar Jackson, who's having the best statistical season.
I was going to chime in and say I really think we need to pay attention to the narrative that Lamar Jackson's having a very, very good season and could easily be surpassing Josh Allen, as much as I would hate to see it.
I just think what Josh Allen has done for his team, you talk about the Bengals, what Joe Burrow's done, but Josh Allen's, he's done it. He's gotten them to the playoffs. They're going to be the 2 seed. Like, is it locked up? Certain?
I don't know if it's locked up. Well, the 1 seed's definitely locked up.
Yeah.
So I would guess they're probably locked
So
up.
a certain 2 seed, and they stopped the Chiefs from being undefeated. Like,
thank God.
I'm curious to see what it comes down to. We'll see what it comes down to.
Interesting.
Do you think Lamar has a chance at all, or do you think it's between those two?
I think Lamar's a chance, but
I saw this narrative, and I really didn't know how to feel about it, that Lamar, Josh Allen, you're going to hate it as soon as I say it.
I know you.
You know what I'm saying? Is Jokic and Embiid, and they're having voter fatigue for Lamar, and they're giving one to Josh Allen, even though Lamar has more all total purpose yards. He's got more touchdowns. Like, I really hope Josh Allen wins it, but I can honestly I see the parallels there, to be honest.
I'm excited to see him get.
I don't think Lamar should have won it last year, to be honest. And I think that if you look at the Jokic and Embiid, I don't think Jokic should have won it one of the years he got it. And I think they were trying to make up for it with giving it to Embiid. I don't think that's a hot take at all. And you could see the same thing here.
I understand the comparison, but I think Josh Allen's better than Embiid.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Preach, Rank. We can all get behind that.
Yeah, that we can.
All right, I got the hoops grid.
Hooray.
All right. 1970s and waiting for this one. My 2 favorite brothers, bottom left-hand corner, Dick and Tom Van Arstel.
What?
Wow.
Oh, my Rankle.
And Tom, right above him.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Tom Van. Holy.
Wow.
Rank.
Brothers.
Who are those guys?
2 random guys in the NBA who I found their name one time and they just have elite names.
Yeah, Dick Van Arsel. That's a good one. That's a birthday type name.
Let's see. Hawks, maybe 1,000+ career games. Did Sweet Lou Hudson play 1,000 career games?
Possible. Ooh.
What about Tree Rollins?
Oh, favorite.
Yep.
Should we save him for this one though, the 70s, or is that too obvious?
Maybe.
Can we go like Thabo Cephalosha for the top right?
Oh, I like that one too. I'm gonna see if Cam Reddish is. Yeah. Oh God, I'm sorry. That was horrible.
It's okay.
Oh. Rank, I need some random Knicks players that must have played for the Hawks.
Tracy McGrady, do you think people know he played for the Knicks?
Oh God.
Career games. What about Corey Joseph for 25-point regular season game, 1,000 career games?
What a shout! I really hope that's it.
You think he's played enough games? Maybe not.
He might not have.
I guess not.
Richard Jefferson.
Ooh.
Nice.
There we go.
Oh, that handsome guy.
Yeah.
What jersey is he wearing?
Ooh, Jeremy Lin, Hawks Knicks.
Maybe. Ooh, good shout.
Rank. Oh, we could do better. 1,000. How many seasons is it? That's at least 10.
We might as well try Shelvin Mack for that one. 1,000. I mean, we'll just see. You never know.
Statistically, that's just not gonna happen.
All right, top middle, Mutombo.
Was he a Nick?
No way. Mutombo and Knicks Hawks.
Yeah. R.I.P. Go
All right.
Doc Rivers, top middle.
Ooh, nice.
More people know Doc Rivers played for those teams? Really? That's horrible. How about how many did Jeff Teague play? Oh, Jeff Teague didn't play enough games? Really?
Can we try the middle, Langston Galloway?
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. He was a great Nick. Nice.
There we go. Mike Bibby, top middle.
Bibby.
Come on.
That's insane.
Schroeder. Come on. Damn.
You think Jose Calderon had 1,500 points?
Yeah, try it.
Bottom middle.
Yeah, I like that.
I think he was on the Hawks too. Oh wow.
Try him for the Knicks.
Right.
Fuck.
All right, that's better.
Yeah, close. That's a good one though to keep. I mean,
yeah.
Knicks. We know like Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, John Starks.
Yeah, try John Starks, bottom middle.
Oh,
What?
Try Allen Houston.
Damn.
Try Willis Reed, bottom middle.
Yes, that's a good one. If that doesn't work, try Dave DeBouchier.
I think Willis Reed should stay just for that picture.
That is a good photo. What?
Earl Monroe,
For which one?
bottom middle.
I like that.
Damn. You can't catch a break. That's
That
a
was
good
a good
photo.
one.
We're going there. We're leaving that.
We got to get rid of Tree. I don't like him being there.
Sneaky Carmelo Anthony. Do you think that would work?
No,
Or like
that's not going to show up.
Dwight Howard?
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot he played.
All right.
Oh, damn.
Trying to think of people that sneakily played for the Hawks.
In the 70s.
Did Biyombo play for the Hawks?
How many games did Josh Smith play?
I feel like
Do you think he played long enough? Probably not.
damn.
Well, like ISO Joe Johnson. Shout out. Go.
No, we're going back.
Why don't you try Tree Rollins, top left?
Oh. I couldn't name a single player from the.
Try Sweet Lou Hudson.
Worse.
They're hating.
So Tom Van Arsdale played for the Hawks. Do we try to switch somebody out of that spot?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you want to put in where he is?
We could get random that played in the 70s.
We could get a really random one.
I can't name any 70s players.
Just type in like an old name.
Oh, you're kidding! Ew! Look at that photo.
Throw Tom into a Tree Rollins box.
Try Otis Birdsong for George Gervin.
Fuck! How do you?
Tom Van.
Thank you. Nice. You want
We get
Birdie song?
Otis Birdsong, yeah.
Nice.
There we go.
There we go.
Bottom right.
Nice.
I would prefer we get rid of Josh Smith. I don't like that he's there. I don't know who we could do better though.
I don't know how we're getting better than that.
Okay, this one is a gimme. We just got to find someone random enough.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Nazir Muhammad.
Go for it.
Bang.
He did not average enough points. That's probably true.
Only 122 people.
No way. No way. DeAndre Jordan, maybe?
Dude, that's a lot of points to have in a season. I don't know about that.
You just get Steve Novak.
Peja Stojakovic.
I like
That's
that.
a good one, Rick.
Damn.
Weber.
Play
You think Chris Webber we ran him enough?
Chris Webber's a good one.
What?
What?
Which one are we missing on the games?
How many points is 15,000 points in a season?
I would go try Allen Houston for this one.
Hold on. 15,000. We're going to look like
1,500.
1,500.
18 points a game.
What? Chris Webber didn't get 18. That's got to be it. He played 14 years. It's got to be 1,000 games.
Maybe he just was hurt.
Try Allen Houston.
Fuck.
Did he have enough years? Now it's making me think. No way.
No, he is not.
What about if we go Tree Rollins down there?
All right, I got one. The original Splash Brother. There we go.
Good work. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What's our percentage? Scroll down through it.
We were better than 88.4%. We'll take that. We're consistently very good at these.
We really are. We deserve to pat ourselves on the back once in a while.
Yes, we do.
Give ourselves a handshake.
I would like some birthdays, please.
All right.
Very excited.
Let's see. Birthdays today. First of all, shout out to LeBron James celebrating his 40th. It's not today, but he's our king, our glorious king, and Rankle's GOAT. So, of course, we're going to shout him out.
To me, it's
starting off with baseball. Fernando Tatis turns 26 today.
That's right. 26 years young, baby.
Anything you want to say to him? Anything special?
Te amo is what I would say.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Reed Garrett, New York
Oh,
Mets
yeah.
pitcher, turns 32.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday to you, Mr. Reed Garrett. Let's see. David Cohn, Hall of Famer, turned 62. Same with Edgar Martinez, another Hall of Famer. Moving over to basketball, the man who saved basketball, Aaron Wiggins, turns 26 today.
Yup. I love that you know
Happy
that.
birthday to you, Aaron Wiggins. Xavier Moon turns 30. Kirk Heinrich turns 44. The maneuver.
That's a good ass.
Yeah, some great basketball players. Okay, moving over to football. Let's see. We got to have some. Ronald Darby turns 31. Happy birthday to you, Ronald Darby.
Darby.
Any good names we got? Mike Hass turns 40. Happy birthday to you, Mike Hass. That's great.
Jeez.
Wild.
Yeah. This just doesn't sound real. Brad Spanik turns 55. Brad is his first name. I've never seen that in my life. Birthday to you, Brad Spanik. That doesn't sound right to say. That's really all we got for football. Moving over to hockey, we have Yuri Bababenko. Happy birthday to you, Yuri.
What?
Yuri legend. Yuri, happy birthday. That was poor. Guy Smith turned 75. Guy Smith. That's just okay. And soccer. I just want to make sure I get these right. Haha, Ampanoa, happy birthday to you. A lot of laughs on your birthday, buddy. We're just a lot of laughs.
Cakes and candles, haha.
Yeah, that's all we got. We'll let haha wrap it up today.
Love that.
God, that was a good one.
That was a good
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. As always, we are happy to enter another year with all of our audience from around the world, whether it's 10 p.m. your time or it's 5 a.m. We're happy that you're here. We'll see you. We plan on having a phenomenal rest of 2025. You're not going to want to miss it at all. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, because we're going to be streaming these. I don't give a shit what you're doing. You're going to be turning it on. So hit that damn bell, or else Rankle will get very angry at you. That's the last thing you want.